Welcome, GeoShred users. This is a video tutorial to help you get started with GeoShred. We're going to do an overview of the performance area as well as its controls. Then we'll take a look at the preset editor, which can be used to create your own presets. As a part of the preset editor, we'll look at the controls for the guitar physical model. Also, as a part of the preset editor, we'll look at the performance controls, which can be used to configure how GeoShred is performed. After that, we'll look at the control surface editor, which will allow you to create a small palette of expressive controls to use when performing. Along the way, we'll show a simple example showing how you can create your own preset. We'll also look at how to create a set list of presets that can be used with a page-turning device for a live performance. Finally, we'll look at how the help system works. And the global settings. Next, the performance area. The performance keyboard in GeoShred is an isomorphic keyboard laid out much like a guitar. There are 6 strings, and by default, they are tuned in perfect force. You can play chords, or lead line melodies. In the upper left, you'll find the octave flipper, which allows you to switch between different octaves. The auto octave feature allows you to fly through octave registers without having to change your finger positions. You can totally shred using just a few keys. The 2D expression pad allows you to control 2 different controllers at the same time. In this case, feedback and amplifier distance can be controlled from the expression pad so that you can express the sweet spots of a feedback distortion guitar model. The performance controls are a part of the design of each preset. They are exported to the performance area using the control surface editor. Under the main menu, you'll find file operations and access for the editors. Below the menu button, you will find a squelch control that can be used to suppress feedback. The question mark will bring up some sticky notes that explain what some of the controls do. The preset flipper will allow you to flip back and forth between presets in the current set list. There is a drop-down that will allow you to choose any preset. You can also choose different set lists with the Setlist drop-down. Here are a few example presets. Next, the preset editor. The Preset Editor is used to edit new and existing presets. In this case, we'll create a new preset. The Edit button can be used to insert, delete, or reorder effects in the preset's effect chain. Tapping on the plus icon will bring up a list of effects that you can add to your preset. As an example, we will choose a phaser, a reverb, and an echo. The effects can be reordered with a long press and a drag. The preset can be saved with the Save button. Tapping on an effect icon will bring up a full-size effect with interactive knobs that can be used for voicing. At the top of the Stompbox Inspector, you will find a drop-down that will allow you to choose from several predefined settings. The Compare button can be used to compare your preset edits to the last save. An effect in the chain may be disabled by tapping on its abbreviated name. Tapping on the CPU button will display the compute cost of each effect unit as well as the total compute cost. If you need to move the effect inspector to a different location, you can move it with a long press and a drag. The menu is where you'll find file operations, including Revert to discard your changes and Share to share your presets with friends. Next, the guitar physical model. The Guitar Inspector is how you work with the controls for the guitar model. You'll find tab pages for the guitar overall, the strings, the bridge, the body, and key controls that can be varied statistically. Under Instrument, there's a drop-down where you can select a number of different types of guitar models. Vibrato can be performed directly on the keyboard with finger motion. There is also modulator-based vibrato, which supports rate, depth, and lag for delayed onset. Common controls are for volume, tuning, transposition, and the range of the whammy. The dynamics knobs can be used to set the decay and the release times for the strings. Material can be used to vary the material of the string between steel and nylon. Stiffness can be varied between an elastic string and a rigid bar. Pick position can vary from the middle of the string to near the bridge. Hexaphonic Strings. Using distortion on power chords sounds great because it's grungy. However, distortion on conventional chords with thirds, sixths, or sevenths can sound muddy because of intermodulation distortion. Hexaphonic strings can be used to switch the 6-string guitar to 6 1-string guitars, indicated by the 6 on the guitar cable. Using hexaphonic strings with distortion will eliminate intermodulation distortion, giving rise to an ensemble of 6 1-string guitars. Here's an example of hexaphonic strings combined with feedback and distortion. With the stereo control, you can distribute hexaphonic strings in the stereo field. At the bottom of the Bridge tab, you'll find controls for harmonics. The second harmonic button is a shortcut to enable playing the second harmonic on all strings. Alternatively, harmonic number can be used to set any harmonic, including fractional harmonic. It's also possible to play a pinch harmonic on release, which often happens in a high-volume feedback distortion situation. The sitar bridge models the nonlinearity of a parabolically curved sitar bridge known as a jawari. The tambura jiva bridge models the nonlinearity of the bridge found on a tambura. Normally, this nonlinearity is created with cotton threads near the base of the bridge. The body controls allow you to modify the reverberant properties of an acoustic guitar body. It's possible to set the body to be larger and more reverberant than anything in real life. A number of the guitar controls can be varied statistically. Here are a few examples. The expert disclosure can be used to access the roughly 70 controllers that are in the guitar model. Each controller has its own inspector that allows you to directly modify its value. Every controller has documentation that can be accessed through the Help icon. Next, the performance controls. The Performance Control Inspector is how you configure GeoShred for performing. There are tab pages for Configuration, the Arpeggiator, Master Control, and Configuring the Keyboard. There are 3 performance modes: mono, string, and poly, with string being the default. String mode is just like a guitar. With each new note, on the same string, preempting any previous notes. With mono mode, only one voice is used for all notes, and each successive note preempts the previous. In poly mode, if there are two touches on the same string, both notes will be played. For successive notes on the same string, normally the string will be replucked for each note. With legato turned on, successive notes are not replucked. There are also 3 quantization modes: piano, guitar, and slide. Piano quantization mode is just like a piano. Sliding between keys triggers a new note, and there is no finger vibrato. Guitar quantization is the same as piano quantization, except that you can use finger vibrato. With slide quantization, you can play a note and then slide freely along the length of the string. Snap only applies to slide mode. When snap is turned on, if you touch the key to the left or the right of its center, the note played will always be perfectly in tune. If snap is turned off, then notes will slide into being in tune at the rate set by slide speed. With a low slide speed value, notes will slide slowly into being in tune. The vertical green crosshair indicates sliding into being in tune. With a high slide speed value, notes will quickly slide into being in tune. In mono mode, you can optionally play up to 6 strings simultaneously using a predefined interval. You can optionally set a separation time between the individual notes in the interval. Mono mode intervals are defined by using the Assign button and then playing some keys on the keyboard. A name is suggested for the interval, but you can give it any name that you like. In string and poly mode, the Arpeggiator will arpeggiate whatever keys you're playing on the keyboard. In mono mode, the Arpeggiator can be used to do single key arpeggiation of the current mono mode interval. Any part of the system that uses a rate can optionally subscribe to the master rate. Subscribing to the master rate makes it possible for multiple effects units to have synchronized rates. Here is an example. Each of these units is subscribing to some multiplier of the master rate. Under the Keyboard tab, you'll find controls for configuring the keyboard. You can vary the number of strings, the number of frets, the width of the keyboard, and you can pan the keyboard. Under Scale, you can choose a root and a scale to be displayed on the keyboard. The scale that is displayed can be useful for providing visual cues during performance. The default tuning for GeoShred is stacked force. There is a drop-down where you can select from a list of common tunings. Here is standard guitar tuning. You can also define your own tuning as a part of your preset. Next, the Control Surface Editor. The Control Surface Editor can be used to place specific controls from your preset in the performance area so that you can use them for expression during your performance. Tapping on the green plus icon will bring up a browser that will allow you to find every controller on every effect in your preset. You can select the controller that you are interested in, and you can choose what type of UI element will be displayed in the performance area. Controls can also be deleted by tapping the red X and can be reordered with a long press and a drag. Multiple controllers can be assigned to the same control. In this case, the phaser, flanger, and tremolo depths, as well as the guitar string stiffness, are assigned to the same slider. The vertical Y motion of a key can be used for expression. In this case, the volume control on the volume pedal is assigned to key Y. Independent controllers can be assigned to the X and Y axes of the expression pad. In this case, stiffness is assigned to the Y-axis and vibrato depth is assigned to the X-axis. Controllers that are assigned to controls can be modified by a lookup table known as a curve. This creates many new sonic opportunities. Here is an example that makes extensive use of key Y curves. This preset has 4 controllers assigned to key Y. Here is the curve for harmonic number. Notice that the crosshair shows the current position in the lookup table as a function of the expression control. Here is the curve for pick position. Here is the curve for the distortion level. Here is the curve for the volume pedal level. Key step curves make it possible to change the value of a controller each time a new note is played. In this case, the Arpeggiator is running, and the key step curves are creating a variety of different values for a number of controllers. Let's look at the key step curves for each controller. Here is the step curve for material. Here is the step curve for chorus delay. Here is the step curve for tuning. With a key number curve, you can set the value of a controller as a function of the key number that is being played. Here is an example where the string is stiffer for higher key numbers. The crosshair indicates the current key number that is being played. Next, the Setlist Editor. GeoShred comes shipped with a number of presets, and you can also add your own presets. Here are a few things to keep in mind. Any preset that has been edited but not saved is red. Factory presets go from white to yellow when they've been edited and saved. You can always revert a factory preset with the Revert menu item. All presets, both factory and user, are stored in a special setlist called All Presets. A setlist is a collection of presets taken from the All Presets list. GeoShred is shipped with a number of setlists, but you can also create your own. Setlists are useful because you can use them to arrange a sequence of presets that you can step through. GeoShred supports air turn pedals for stepping through presets in setlists. The Setlist menu item is used to access the Setlist Editor. The plus creates a new setlist. You can choose presets from the All Presets list. Multi-selection is supported. Tap Add when your selections are done, and there's your set list. The Edit button can be used to rearrange, copy, or delete presets in your set list. Your set list is now available to be used in the preset flipper. Next, Help and Settings. Help can be accessed from the question mark icon. The Performance area, the Preset Editor, and the Control Surface Editor have sticky notes to help you get started. There is also a Help item in the main menu that will bring up the Help browser. You can move the Help browser with a long press and a drag. In the Preset Editor, the question mark will bring up the documentation browser for each effect, as well as a description of each effect's controllers. There is a menu item for global settings. Enable Menu Shortcuts places an icon for the Preset Editor and the Control Surface Editor on the icon bar. By default, finger effects are visible for touches to the performance surface. Finger effects can be turned off with the Disable Finger Effects setting. The knob behavior setting sets knobs to either be horizontal, vertical, or rotary. The slider color setting can be used to change the color of all the sliders. The Inspector Background setting can be used to select a background to be used for the curves inspectors. The Air Turn setting is used to enable Air Turn page turning devices.